Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. It is your council recap with my special guest, who will actually be the guest for all of these and continue to do all of these. Your Administrator Chad Brecklin. Chad, are you ready to rock and roll?
Yes, absolutely.
These are going to be busy times for you when we get you on here, so we got to get right into it. Although a little bit lighter agenda, that's okay. It kind of helps us in the long run. We're going to start in the public appearances, non-agenda items area. Two recognitions happening. First off, we had another really successful community night out. It's been organized by Sergeant Logan Brown.
Right.
He's done an amazing job, and you were out there as well as I. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, very cool. The mayor, Mayor Radafrada, recognized Sergeant Logan Brown for his work the last few years since he's taken the lead on that community night out event that's been held at McKee Farms Park. I think they've estimated, 1,500 to 2,000 people have shown up the last couple of years to each of those events, and the mayor took the time out of the council meeting last night to show appreciation on behalf of all of us here at the city for Logan's efforts. So it's been a great event.
Who's going to be the guy who's out there, or gal, like counting those people coming in and out? We were trying to figure out how could we get a better count on that in the future. But it was a great participation from everybody, and we hope to see everybody back out there for that. We also had introduction to a new fire battalion chief as well.
Battalion Chief Dave Zulke was introduced to the Common Council. The Battalion Chief is a new position in the fire department, and that position is responsible for the on-shift supervision and leadership and officer in command or in charge coverage. So this will be a very helpful position to have in the fire department. It's one of those things that with a growing community and a growing department that has become necessary, and Dave will be filling that newly created role.
He's been here for a while too, so it's cool to have him move up in the ranks, so to speak, and be a part of the department and stay with us.
Absolutely.
All right, we will be passing the consent agenda, but for folks who aren't familiar, what does the consent agenda mean? Because you're like, wait, there's a whole bunch of things there.
Right. Anything that shows up in the consent agenda is items, for instance, the minutes of the meeting or financial related matters. Those are things that don't necessarily need any discussion unless an alder specifically wants to discuss them. So those basically, these items can be approved in kind of like one action, if you will. And then the referrals to committees and commissions, what those are is those are items that are being referred out to a particular committee or commission for that particular meeting date that committee will be able to take a look at that particular item, and then it'll have a report back date, which is typically 2 weeks, and will follow up into the next Common Council meeting for action by the council. It can vary depending upon timing and so forth, so it isn't always the following meeting that item comes back, but more often than not it is.
All right, well then we jump down to our commission and committee reports and start in Plan Commission. A couple items in here. First, Resolution R-15524, approving the Comprehensive Development Plan request. I'm not sure if I should read all these all the time, so we're working through this together, but tell us what we're talking about here.
Right, so there are a variety of steps in the development process, and I'm not going to sit here and profess to know all of them or say that I'm an expert on them, but most often with any larger development, it requires a comprehensive development plan. And a couple of the items on this agenda under the Plan Commission section were updates to or amendments to a previously approved comprehensive development plan. The first item was in relation to a project off of Noel Drive, Fahey Fields specifically, that had originally had a larger institutional use for a school planned for a particular parcel. That use did not come to fruition, so they basically have requested to amend that development plan that would allow for that parcel to be replaced with some multifamily housing, and still a portion of that parcel reserved for potential school, daycare, that sort of use. But of course, those can be any of those uses can be a little challenging to get all the details worked out to have them come to fruition. And then the Comprehensive Development Plan amendment in regards to the Jamestown Quarry Comprehensive Development Plan. That really was more of a housekeeping issue for the purposes of the meeting last night. There is a lot of work to do in that development process yet, but this was basically an action that made it clear that any prior comprehensive development plans for that site were no longer in effect, and that this one has now superseded it.
Awesome. And then the final one is an approving a certified survey map. We see this a lot come through, like you said.
Yeah. So this one is over on West Clayton Road, I believe it was. A property owner had a parcel there where they were able to do a certified survey map, which then divided that one parcel into two parcels, and I believe they may be intending to split that lot in order to have either a second residence that's already on there, identified in two separate parcels, or perhaps build a new residence there. I'm not entirely certain, or can't recall exactly the reason for the.
I think you're right in there with what it is. And by the way, these do play out. So we obviously record all the meetings, so you can see the discussions of these as they get referred back out to their committee and commissions here on Fact TV. So I encourage you to do that. We'll move into Finance Committee. Have one resolution here approving the purchase of replacement firefighting turnout gear.
Yeah.
It's a lot to say.
Yeah, so that gear is what the firefighters wear when they respond to typically fires, although they might wear it also if they respond to things like a car crash. It does provide a measure of protective covering, not just from fire, but perhaps abrasion and other sorts of things. But this needs to be replaced every 10 years. They replace, a certain number of sets at any given time as those expiration dates are coming due. And this purchase was for 12 sets to replace those on their scheduled replacement cycle.
Awesome. And then finally we move into, and it's a big one, nothing like, kicking off here with a bigger amendment here, or bigger resolution, but we've been talking about possibility for a referendum. This was the vote on the actual question in hand.
Right, yeah. So we've talked about this obviously on the show many times, Jeremy, and this was the resolution that authorizes the city to include a referendum question on the November 5th general election ballot. The Common Council did approve that resolution last night, and that resolution basically identified the amount of funding, the positions that would be included within the referendum, and what that funding would be utilized for. And the language of that question is pretty specific, where we don't have a lot of leeway, so to speak, as to the form and some of the components or language of that question. But what we did have leeway over is obviously the specific items related to Fitchburg. So that's a $3.6 million just under referendum. That is, if it's approved, is a one-time $3.6 million increase. It does not increase, continue to increase above that. It is a one-time $3.6 million increase that does remain permanent, but does not increase from there. And that would fund 5 police department positions, 6 fire department positions, 3 positions here within City Hall, and the operating costs associated with a police services facility, improvements to transit, and there will be a small amount for ongoing operational costs within the city.
And there's plenty of information out at the website, fitchburgwi.gov. We have a referendum page set up there to go through what you just talked about, and there'll be a lot more information coming out here in the coming days as well. So while we stop here for this, I encourage you to tune in as we have a lot of input sessions coming up, or sessions we'll be sharing more information. So more to come. We'll be seeing you a lot.
Yeah, you will. There's a lot of information already out on the city's website. We have a specific landing page for our referendum, and the information sessions have already been identified, dates, times, and locations. There'll be 4 opportunities for in-person information and 3 opportunities for virtual information. So I would encourage folks to take a look at those dates out on the website. They should look for additional items coming via the mail over the next couple of months as well. There will be a mailer that goes out shortly with the information related to the referendum as well as those information sessions.
And Chad and I do a monthly update as well, so we'll get him back on the show here to give us an update of kind of where that is and remind folks of those upcoming sessions there before the November 5th election. All right, finally, direct referral-wise, a resolution approving the purchase of a quarter-ton utility truck.
Yeah, so this is a larger utility truck or pickup truck that our water utility utilizes, and it has more capacity to take on the type of utility box that is necessary for the work that our team there does. And typically we buy our vehicles off of state contract. Sometimes availability can be problematic, or we might have missed the window in which it closes for orders and those sorts of things. But our team did a good job in locating an alternate vehicle that they could utilize. Typically they buy Chevys off the state contract, and they located a 3/4 ton Dodge truck with the box that they were looking for from a dealer in Michigan, and it's resulting in an approximately $19,000 savings versus the state bid on this particular state contract for this particular type of vehicle. Of course, it would be a different brand with maybe slightly different features, but our team felt that this vehicle would meet their needs. And again, I think there was it's a nice thing when our team is able to find things that save taxpayer money.
Well, this is a specific use. I mean, this is the giant toolbox on wheels, so it's pretty specific to what it is moving forward. There has been a push for more EV vehicles or electric vehicles in the making. That's still always a push. When it comes to trucks matching the EV right now, still a little bit of a gap there. Plus, as you mentioned, there's quite a bit of a wait for that, because a lot of municipalities are trying to pick up more EV vehicles as well.
Right, yeah, we're starting to make this transition to purchasing EVs wherever the application is appropriate. We have a couple in our Public Works Department already. Those are 1/4 ton pickup trucks. Folks may have seen them out and about. This particular application with a heavier duty capacity or load, the 3/4 ton, it's my understanding there's not really a viable EV option at this point in time, and if there is, it's prohibitively expensive.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep you up to date on that. Next council meeting will be on September 10th, so we'll be back after the 10th to do this council update. But I encourage you to check out the website, fitchburgwi.gov. Agendas are on there, minutes are on there, and then the meetings are also available out there. Chad, look forward to having you back on the show.
Yeah, sounds good.